Hello everybody, welcome back to Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4 Kaiserreich Russia. Let us continue on from where we last left off, and if you're watching this episode, it should be Christmas. So Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy Hanukkah, or I don't know all the other holidays. But whatever holiday you celebrate, I'm happy to have you here today watching another episode of Kaiserreich. So, last time, people are a little angry. The peasants are a little upset about the whole land reform program. They're not quite happy, but that's okay. We don't need to listen to a word they say. We'll move through regardless. And Ungren's generals escaped to Russia. Following the overthrow of Baron Roman von Eugen-Sternberg's government of Mongolia, he and many of his non-Mongolian associates were forced to flee the country. Ungren and his generals, Mikolai Ternovsky and Boris Rezgin, were able to cross the border and escape into Irsk. Together with them is Nikolai Kazagrande, who has sent an attaché to Mongolia in 1931, and serves as something as a liaison between Sternberg and us. They have written a letter to Boris Sannikov offering their services to the Russian army. Okay, we are just going to let back the one dude, because I do not want to spend 25 or 30 political power. I cannot afford it, okay? The rest of you can go back to, civilian life or something like that. We don't need you here. Construction one is finished. It's not even like near 37. Fortification. Is there anything that we can get for 36 that would be reasonable? Artillery upgrade? Sure, why not? I think that seems just as good as anything else. Allowing you to secure power in Yunnan. Civilian. Is there anything we want to do with you guys? I mean, we could prepare a collaborations government. We don't really have enough spies for that, though. And also, I don't have enough civilian factions to really research anything there. So, for right now, we won't worry about it. I mean, if we can get a collaborations government going, I believe that reduces surrender limit, which would be really, really good for us. Because Ukraine for sure is like the main obstacle we will face when we go to war with Germany. Now, if Ukraine were to have theoretically a socialist revolution, wouldn't say no to that happening either. The Caucasus reaffirms commitment to land reform. The Committee of Cossacks, Mountaineers, and Steppes people have gathered in Yekandarbor. Yekandarbor for a 7th session since the Crusade in 1922. Ostensibly a meeting ground for the many different peoples who inhabit southern Russia and the North Caucasus. The committee has long held a reputation for elitism and patronage. This isn't terribly surprising, as many of its members are landowners and hereditary clan chiefs, who have had little gain from dividing their estates. It has thus come as a shock when the 7th session ruled in favor of formally declaring support for President Savikov's land reform campaign. Once the surprise had worn off, the caveat for the statement quickly came to light. This support was contingent on the reforms keeping land within its respective ethnic groups. While sure to disappoint the largely landless Igradine and groups like the Chechens and the English, the statement has nevertheless strengthened the hand of reformist factions among the Cossacks and the Mountaineers. It is no secret that Savinkov admires the Cossacks and many of the mountaineering people, but the relationship with the landing leaders of these groups have been decidedly more awkward from an ideological standpoint. Nevertheless, the SZRS is not one to look a gift horse in the mouth. The landowning elite supports remains necessary for maintaining order in the region, and the 7th session has opened an avenue to drawing pro-SZRS factions closer to power. Small steps, but steps nonetheless. Well, I will take the compliance in the south. Because again, they're not cores, they're occupied states, unfortunately. State modifiers, Cossack hosts. We can scorch the earth. No real reason to do that in peace times, but, I mean, could do it regardless. Upwards, called Shax's Falcons. In a bid to demonstrate the capacities of Russian aviation, a long-haul flight crew of Valerian Cheklov, Georgy Baidukov, and Alexander Belikov have completed their trans-Russian flight from Moscow to the mouth of the Amur River in the Far East. Pilots' face now decorate every newspaper in Russia, but much praise has always been given to the project's mastermind, Admiral Alexander Kolchak, and the aviation companies of Stropolsky and Tipolov. Despite their thoroughbred mariner, Kolchak has emerged as one of the most energetic and lavish founders of Russia's air industry, seeing an aircraft not only another tool of Russian defense, but also for his profound interest in exploring the North Pole. Kolchak has already promised that this flight is only the beginning, and that Russia's air crews can be expected along American shores by summer's end. Russian engineering is the best in the world. They went from the mouth of the Amir, which I think is like Is it this river? It's one of these rivers, obviously. I think it's you. I mean, I'm just trying to remember like where is the mirror in like TNO, and it's like around here-ish. But either way, I'm glad to have some planes that are not garbage. This focus will decisions will unlock, but it may increase popular anger or military anger. Decisions will improve our economic recovery. All that sounds great. And we are slowly getting some political power, which is nice. I don't know what we're going to be able to spend it on, but hopefully something. Okay. The question of funding. The consolidation of banks and issuing of the works creation bills has succeeded in bringing in some liquid capital from domestic investors. But it's a far cry from the total needed for all the state's expenditures and debts. With the VES fervently attempting to gather as much money as possible for the state's many planned reforms, the time has come to make the difficult choice as to who to sacrifice for the nation's sake. The VES has outlined 3 possible approaches. The first is to drastically cut military expenditures. This would entail ceasing procedures on new equipment and furloughing many of the troops as safely possible. The Stavka is incredulous at the suggestion that Russian defenses be weakened to such an extent, to say nothing of their salaries. The second option is to instead target the public. Austerity can save rubles from otherwise being spent on social services. More importantly, the government can force farmers to once again sell their grain for export rather than be waiting for prices to rebound. Peasants will be furious, but the state is struggling without the crucial agriculture exports that underpin much of Russia's budget. Finally, the third approach is to draw foreign credit into Russia no matter how unfavorable the terms may be. Given President Savinkov's promise to break Russia's economic slavery to Germany, many will see this as a decision to surrender to the power that caused this economic catastrophe in the first place. Negative 10% popularity. I mean, it's only for half a year, right? Half a year, literally, I don't think matters. Right now, they're at 2. Not a big deal. And we're not even going to go to war with anybody by 37. So we'll take it out of the military budget for right now. I think that seems okay. I mean, it's not great, but it is what it is. And the creation of the VES. As Russia bears the aftershock of Black Monday, it has become starkly clear that the country is facing the worst economic crisis in a decade. The Vernovsky Economic Soviet, or the Supreme Economic Council, has been established in record time by President Flat, but it faces a daunting task. The VES chairman and Minister of the Industry and Trade, Alexander Vozhnetsky, nevertheless delivered a widely reported speech to the Duma within days of his appointment, laying out Russia's immediate strategy for economic recovery. With even short-term credit from abroad almost impossible to find and politically unpalatable, the state has stepped in to recapitalize and nationalize a sizable portion of Russia's insolvent banks, placing them under the jurisdiction of the reorganized State Bank. Given the weak reputation of the government as a borrower, plans have been put in place to issue bills of exchange through domestic proxy banks, termed work creation bills. It is hoped that private sector investors will keep money flowing internally, with the goal of having these investments reach maturity once the economy has stabilized. Paired with harsh but focused austerity measures, the VES plan intends to balance finances by limiting government spending and maintaining an internal liquid capital flow in public work programs. Though ambitious strategies are already being workshopped for total industrial transformation of Russia, the short-term goal is to maintain employment levels as high as possible for simple subsistence. If all goes well, Russia's working class will be able to bear the brunt of this austerity with government support, and be ready for economic counteroffensive to win back the ground lost. So let's see, you will be 40 days. I mean, it allows us to do more Black Monday stuff, which is kind of what we need to do. Doctors' sausages. Though the Stolbniks have been called butchers before, party flags flutter atop the meat processing plant is still a novelty. Much fanfare has been surrounded the first Moscow sausage factory, built with the experience and capital of both Russia and Germany. It is a testament to what can be done when two sausage-loving nations work together. Sadly, its finances and management left much to be desired. Profits were meager since the opening of 1933, as the Moscow sausages proved unable to compete with Europe and were too pricey for Russians. The factory's German owners, Halbstadter Wurstchen, simply sold it to Russia's government in the wake of Black Monday for a pittance. The SZRS has been since transformed the first Moscow sausage factory into a prototype for their economic vision. The factory has come under management for the SZRS-led Artel, a traditional form of trade cooperative given a national populist makeover. With the government blessing, brother workers now run the factory under the supervision of party-approved elders. Modern dormitories and a church have been constructed near the factory grounds to better develop a sense of community. Additionally, the plants have been retooled to produce even more affordable products. Rumor has it that President Savikov himself insisted that new, heartier sausages be developed. After all, the Russian people will be as hungry for her factories with the work that lies ahead. It remains to be seen how practical such a transformation can be across Russia, but this sausage stunt has captured the public attention. Now, the new and essentially healthy Dr. Sausages are already a hit. Sausages for everybody. Fantastic. I think I already know what the thumbnail for this episode is going to be. What a great I love when an event just gives me a great video title and thumbnail idea. It's always nice to have. And look, Rexy has 34 political power. Is that enough to do anything? No, but we're getting close to maybe being able to do one of these 40s, which we do need to do again to try to make Black Monday less garbage. Demonstration in Patriotic. With the SZRS now having control over the Supreme Court, the last legal barriers of Savikov's dictatorship have been removed, and the opposition is furious, seeing their hopes in Savikov's fall slip away. Yet another demonstration was held in Petrograd, with many of the Republican left decrying Savikov as a tyrant hell bent on destroying Russian democracy. We will let them demonstrate. It is going to get them up to 4 anger, but they're still concerned. They're not really mad. They're really, as long as they can get their delicious, delicious sausages, the Russian people, I think, should be fine. Coup in Japan, the Olympics, we did our best. This is actually, okay. I was going to say, does it say if we won any medals? But unfortunately, it does not. And let's first develop Central Russia for 40 political power. Consumer goods will go down. Factory, our stability is going to go up. Factory output's going to go up. We get more infrastructure, which is always nice as well. You know, I'm not going to say no. Okay, doctrines available for the Marines. I mean, again, I do kind of want better Marines. Because I think we need to, like, naval invade Sweden. We maybe need to, like, naval invade Denmark. At some point in the future. Like, our Navy is not... Let's bring our entire Navy into... Patriotic. But I'm not... The Navy's not that important. As long as we can kind of have some jurisdiction over, you know, the North Baltic Sea, hopefully we'll be okay. Okay, the vote has passed. Doesn't really matter to us. By the way, how's our experimental stuff going? We've not completed a single one of them. Okay, fantastic. So I'm not too sure we'll be really able to do, oh god, we have so many things. Okay, so that has finished. Let us do the urban housing program. And the Supreme Commander-in-Chief demands funds. General Field Marshal Anton Denikin, the Supreme Commander-in-Chief, has demanded the government increase the defense budget and initiate serious army reforms. Activates mission army demands. If we do not complete if we do not complete an army focus within the next year, the army will be displeased. Okay. Is it just literally any? One of the following. 50% focus progress on will of victory, science of victory, or more motors. I mean, there's military... I mean, these actually give us a military factors as well. So we just have to be halfway through this. In how long? 1 year? Okay, we have time. Ooh, manpower. Now, manpower is something that we do have a lot of, but we'll look at that in just a second while we read the next 500 events. The VES Program. Since Russia was first hit by Black Monday, several efforts have been made to deal with the crisis. Few would doubt that they've been effective. The economy dealt with the worst effects of the depression is now speeding along to a full road recovery. But despite the government's efforts, many problems remain, more than a few of which predate the crash. The landless unemployed wander rush in search of work, while in much of the countryside, the Republican government's failed land reforms hold back the country's full potential. The biggest of these problems lie with the Russian industry, or rather, the lack thereof. Compared with the modern and industrial states of Europe, Russia is pitifully backwards. Simply put, there are too many men and too few factories. In 1935, the SZRS announced the VES Program to industrialize Russia and solve her economic woes. The program was put on hold because of Black Monday, but now that we've recovered from the crisis, the time has come to restart it. Landless farmers, unemployed workers, and vagrants will all be enlisted into a professional army of labor, ready to serve the state and wage an all-out war against the backwardness which has plagued Russia for so long. In addition to the rapid industrialization promised as part of the VES program, plans have also been put in the works to handle issues of excess population through a program of massive resettlement in Siberia and Turkestan. Pioneers will construct a new communities through which they will earn land and produce food to feed our ever-growing population. All of this will be administered through the VES, which can finally shift its focus from dealing with the depression. Of course, the general reaction from the public is going to be overwhelmingly positive so far. There's no doubt the program will continue to raise support for the SRS and Stavenkov's rule. After all, how could anyone be against such a patriotic plan? And another person has been assassinated. Grim news has arrived from the Caucasus. Imgran Cherklov, a long-standing friend of Russia and a pillar of government support in Chechnya, has died after an attack by unknown assailants. Chulikov and a group of relatives stumbled into an ambush as they were returning from a hunting trip in the outskirts of the town of Ster Atagi. Struck by several rifle shots, Chulikov perished almost instantly. Though Cherkilov's companions returned fire, none of the ambushers were captured, and any dead were carried off the field before they could be retrieved. This is unwelcome news in Moscow, which has watched with concern as control over Chechnya and Ingushetia have weakened in past years. Chulikov was instrumental in liberating Chechnya from an unholy alliance of Bolsheviks and the Uzen Kharijis Caucasus imminent during the Civil War. Since then, the Chulikov family has acted as the vital intermediaries between the Russian government and the local Chechens, crushing dissent but rewarding loyalty generously. With Ingram's death, the Chulikovs have been fatally weakened. Other members of the broader Gendoria Tiap clan have already emerged to carve out pockets of influence, and many make no secret about their hostilities to Russia. Policing the region will become likely more sustainably. Policing the region will become sustainably more difficult. Yeah, we're gonna lose some stability. We're at 5%, which is horrible. Current maximum local logistics capacity deployed works at 80,000. We've currently deployed 0. So you actually, some of these we can't even do because we actually are not powerful enough. Popular anger will increase by 1. I mean, the anger right now is at 4 for popular, so we want to kind of avoid that if we can. 50, 50, 80. The canal. Some, I mean, naval base? I guess we'll go with the canal first. I think that seems okay. I would like to go those numbers up at some point, for sure. What do you want me to do? Utilize the army. I'm guessing I just want to get our anger up. Yes. What is that right now? Is that 3? But it allows us to do 2 of these at the same time. You know what? Fine. We'll utilize the army. I don't like it, but I kind of feel like we don't have much choice right now. We need to get the ball rolling on Russia as quickly as possible. Right? We need a strong Russia. If we want to compete with Germany, we want to compete with the Eastern European states. We need a strong nation. So we have 14. Establish a bunch of stuff. Army demands. Establish the... Oh, we had to do 25. That's 25 political power. Okay. Novgorod Industrial Region. I mean, it makes more sense, I think, again, to kind of go further inland in case they get captured by the Germans at some point. But it costs 25, which I kind of don't want to do right now. Because, I mean, we need more political power. We want to get up to 40 to do another industrial boost. And support for the Polish National Committee. The Russian-Polish relationship is a stormy one. But there's one thing they can both agree on. Germany is their natural enemy. This principle has guided Roman Dmowski's cooperation with the Russians for almost half a decade now. Originally, this well-known Polish statesman headed the Polish National Committee for the Entente. But after the French and the British revolutions, fate brought him to Moscow, the only Entente government still standing and continuing to fight against the German oppressors. An alliance was made. The Russians would support his underground fight against the German monarchy in Poland. In exchange, his Poland would be an ally of Russia. His and his party, the National Democrats, commands enormous respect among the Polish right. One that we can utilize to destabilize King Augustus' monarchy for our own gain. Absolutely, we'll fund them. For sure. And let's see. So you're 100. I need just one of you. Does it make any difference? Not really. So we'll go with the Volgan Basin next. Again, all of these. How bad is Black Monday right now? Actually, military chaos, VES, Black. I mean, okay, it's actually fucking horrible. Oh my god, it's really, really bad. Like I knew it wasn't great. I didn't know it was that bad, man. So you're now at 4, but again, allows us to now do another point here. 10. Do we need steel? No, we have 217. Steel is not that important. 2 civilian factories, though, would be nice. Let's go with, get that one going. But I will say, at least right now, it's going to be a good time for the end of this episode. If you enjoyed it, thumbs up. Have a great holiday, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day, and goodbye.